My behavior would have been a lot better if they weren't running a psyop on me. Okay? So my harshness isn't completely correct, but it isn't completely wrong, as people need to be chastised. But there is a way for one to chastise them, to rebuke them in a manner that is more effective and perhaps even considerate. But the answer to these situations isn't to separate ourselves from our natural leaders. It is for us to fall behind them and make them more comfortable. That's where America failed, one of the places in my case. The answer wasn't to say, hey, they're running a psyop on him, let's abandon him. It's saying they're running a psyop on him. He's the real deal. He's uncontrolled. Let's fall behind him and let's set up the situation where he's comfortable and he's not being drugged and he can communicate effectively. In that aspect, it's a group effort. The group has to identify the natural leader for the right reasons and correctly, and not let financial motives or ulterior motives get in the way, So America failed miserably when it came to my case, and not just the gang stalkers. They failed to see the truth in my message. They failed to spread my message when they saw that it was being suppressed, and they failed to gather a big following and to, really address these issues that I talk on. And they failed when it comes to discernment, which person presenting this topic is a shill and who is someone like me, right? They failed to make the proper judgments and calculations when it came to that aspect of it. So, you have to extract the truth from what I am saying and separate it from that which offends you if you're the type of person, who gets offended easily. In other words, I'm telling you the truth, but what might stop you from seeing it is where you're going to be offended and where you're going to be jealous, right? And I guarantee you that more often than not, when people hear my top martial artist claim, it is selfishness that has them rejecting it, right? They say, what does that mean for me and my people? What does that mean for my allies in Hollywood, for instance? The specific argument he's making about philosophy and religion, what does that mean for us? So instead of trying to do what's honorable and saying, hey, perhaps this doesn't mean this for this reason, they came to the conclusion that, yes, I'm correct. And there is no logical way to debate me about it. My argument is the most compelling, the most logical, and as such, humanity would be correct to take on my perspective and to follow that train of thought to its finish. And it doesn't take a genius to see that. So these kind of people with their ulterior motives, their complexes, their jealousy, their materialism that they can't contain, their worldly desires that they can't contain, are the reasons why they fail to accept this argument that I'm making. It's very straightforward. It's very to the point. We live in the country with the most martial arts schools. You look at the celebrities, we can all pretty much agree on right away that they don't move as fast as I do. So at sparring, they're at a great disadvantage. You'd be a fool to bet against me. So what are the types of people who would pose a greater challenge, who would be more of a formidable opponent for me? They're the types of people who are poor, who would love to make $4,000, etc. And it's not very hard for, a government network that includes all these private researchers and political groups and all these institutions and intelligence agencies and martial artists to find such a person if they existed. But instead, by their actions, they have conceded my point. They went to a great distance to harass me. When I first made my challenge, I simply said, I'm the top. I said nothing about religion or, anything like that, right? I'm the top. If you think you can beat me, go ahead and try, but you still will lose. They tried. They still lost, all of them. And after years of them losing, so it's, we're at a point where either, you admit that I'm the best, or you're just so out of touch with reality, it's obnoxious to hear your opinion, we're at that point now. We've given you people all the opportunity in the world, You know, Bruce Lee never challenged the martial arts community the way I did, you know, as a direct challenge. You know, he simply said, this is my system, this is how I see it. You know, it's better than other systems. He never started saying, I'm the best and blah, blah, blah. I did that. And his philosophies were based on Eastern philosophies, right? And mine is based on, you know, this philosophy that the government is, you know, openly persecuting. And even if you look at other Christians, right? How many white Christians, you know, in this political climate do you think want to concede my point? You know, they're going to let that race get in the way. You know, they want the white man to be the head of all the social orders, you know. They don't care if I'm a Christian. You know, so when you look at this thing, it's not like only the enemies of God have a good reason to beat me. It's everybody who has a problem with their ego, which is almost everybody, you know, has a reason to beat me, you know, and they couldn't, and they won't. And even if they did now, you know, after years of drugging and me getting old and on that age where people retire for sparring, you know, it really doesn't show very much, you know, but I'll go as far as to say that I'll still accept, you know, that I lost, but it's not going to happen, you know, for the same reason I knew back in 2013, December 20th, I said, look, you know, sportsmanlike conduct will be applied. You know, I'm not going to abuse you. I'm not going to cheat you. I'm not a gang stalker. I'm not a Luciferian. I'm not going to lie and cheat you, you know, but make no mistake, you will lose just as surely as if you tried to play Babylon's game against one of those cheating bloodsuckers. Thank you.